America is built on three things: football, beer, and free labor. For those non-Americans, the Super Bowl is basically the best two teams of sweaty men in the nation competing in one giant game at the end of the season to win the football championship, to which they win clout for the next year and a free advertisement for Disney. The game is the most watched thing in the United States. It's such a big thing that during the halftime, they'll have a celebrity or celebrities perform a 10 to 15 minute set of their best hits, typically surrounded by a lot of dancers, and then usually they'll just have crowd goers on the edge of the stage to kind of fill up space, and sometimes perform a little something to add to the show. I mean, the Super Bowl is a national holiday in America. I'm saying this as if most of my viewers aren't from America. You gather your friends, even the ones that couldn't care less about football, drink some beer and watch some guys tackle each other for a few hours. A typical American football gathering kind of looks like this. You have the one that's only there for the halftime show and the food, the one that's a little too invested in their team that barely made it to the Super Bowl, the one who's bandwagoning a team because their team lost in the playoffs, and the one who's only there for commercials. Yep, that's right. The commercials. Since the Super Bowl is the most watched thing on TV, these ads have been known for being the absolute best, most wild, most production value ads that a company can afford. And it gets everyone talking the next day about how Charli D'Amelio was in a hummus ad.
Okay, boomer.
Some of the best and most notable halftime performers have been Michael Jackson, Katy Perry with Missy Elliott, Lady Gaga, Maroon 5 that pretended they were going to do the SpongeBob Bubble Bowl, but it ended up just being Travis Scott.
Yeah. Faith is here. Quit on
And having it gotten bigger and better in the past 20 to 30 years, these halftime shows not only have the professional dancers on stage, but they have an on-field cast of concert goers that are basically just there to fill up space and increase the hype factor. And at a first glance, I always thought like, okay, this is really cool. These people get a free concert and they probably get to go to the Super Bowl for free. And other people just think these are random people from the audience that already paid to go to the Super Bowl and just get this cool opportunity to be in the crowd. No. Those on-field concert goers are pre-casted months before the show. If you watch closely, many of these on-field concert goers are actually practicing choreography, albeit many times very simple choreography, but when you're in this business, this means attending all the rehearsals for your minuscule part in the show. That doesn't sound that bad. Here's a schedule from the 2018 Pepsi halftime show from Justin Timberlake. And here's a schedule for the upcoming 2022 halftime show rehearsals. And guess what? They don't get free tickets to the Super Bowl. Actually, they don't even get fed half the time, and get no transportation or compensation to go to these rehearsals that are mandatory. I mean, this is over a week long of 9-hour days with no pay. You are volunteering for a multi-million-dollar production. Snacks will be provided at most rehearsals? Excuse me? Most? I don't want to get fed sometimes. Oh, and if you wanted to bring your own food, it has to fit in your pocket because you can't bring anything else in. You can't even bring your phone in to entertain yourself most of these days. And this type of treatment for extras or just talent in general isn't unique to the Super Bowl, but this sounds like an absolute nightmare, especially coming from such a large-scale production. And I just learned that the artists themselves don't get paid either. Katy Perry, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Coldplay, Gaga, Justin Timberlake, they all did not get paid for performing in the Super Bowl. Apparently, someone from the NFL said that we cover expenses and production costs, and that's it. I mean, The Weeknd spent literally millions of dollars of his own money for his performance at the Super Bowl, so they can't even do that, apparently. And that's kind of crazy in itself, but I wanted to focus on those smaller dancers today because those giant artists can afford to perform for free. Because performing at the Super Bowl has been shown to just increase the money that they'll get afterwards in streams and everything. So like their return on investment is gigantic for performing at the Super Bowl for free. Meanwhile, these dancers are literally getting nothing and making nothing. So this is all being brought to light now because professional dancer Taja Riley basically exposed all this information and called it all out this year. And you might be wondering, like, why hasn't this ever been brought up before if it's been happening for so long? And it's basically because people are afraid of getting blacklisted in the industry and moving their careers forward. And it's become so normalized. So some of this is just he said, she said, so take some of these like text messages with a grain of salt, but I definitely believe it because I, as a creative, have been in so many situations before where my creative talents were just taken advantage of and people just didn't want to pay. And I'm sure that every creative can relate to that. So here's a post that was made about the Justin Timberlake 2018 Pepsi halftime show, where their only compensation when they actually had to learn choreography was a jacket and a neck warmer. Cool. And here's the choreography that they had to learn, which apparently had a very similar long days of rehearsal. So yeah, those on-field concert goers are kind of supposed to look like just regular people, but they actually do have to learn choreography, and they have to go to these long-ass rehearsals for weeks, months before the show, staying there the whole time with no transportation, no food, and no pay. Not at all. They are literally working for free because it's the Super Bowl, and they want this opportunity so bad to put the Super Bowl on their resume. So the 2022 halftime show is featuring Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg. And the focus of the show is to highlight these black voices, besides Eminem.
Hi, my name is Eminem. Your girl wanted Eminem, so I gave her an Eminem.
Oh my God!
And some texts from the production team were specifically asking for predominantly black movers, as they call them, which are these extras and concert goers, where they apparently will have to learn choreography and attend all of these rehearsals for free, when you're supposed to be highlighting and celebrating black voices. Yikes. So the other issue is that they're not just like putting out this casting call for normal LA civilians to come just sit in the crowd, because then I like almost understand putting this out as like a volunteer position, you know, if you only had to show up for like one day of the rehearsals just so you like know where to stand. But no, they sent out this casting call to an actual talent agency in LA that they sent out to their professional dancers to volunteer for the Super Bowl. They are looking for professional talent and don't want to pay for it. I don't know why this has to be said, but if you're making people go to all of these weeks of long days of rehearsals and learn choreography, no matter how little the choreography is, pay them. Hot take? Maybe pay them for their time. At the very least, feed them and pay for transportation. And one side of the argument that people are saying is that if you don't want to not get paid, just don't take the opportunity. But that's so much easier to say when you're on the outside looking in. And that's not really the problem. The issue is that they should be paying their talent in the first place. And that's not going to change until the landscape is that dancers and talent don't feel pressured to take these free opportunities in order to build their resume. I'm sorry, but exposure doesn't pay the bills. The opportunity for a new dancer to dance at the Super Bowl, putting that on your resume, that is huge. It is so enticing to look at that opportunity as something huge for you, even if it means not being paid. And people will continue to take those opportunities and get taken advantage of by this massive, giant production that I can tell you can definitely afford to pay their dancers. The reason this is such a big deal, even though it's just in the Super Bowl, is because taking advantage of unpaid workers for experience trickles down into every industry. This isn't just about dancers. 99% of us aren't dancers. We're not going to relate to this exact experience. But what we can relate to is being asked to work for free in return for nothing, because it looks good on our resume. I'll talk about that in 1 second, but for creatives specifically, it is so common for creatives to be underpaid, undervalued, demeaned, and outright not paid for our work because people don't see how much work goes into it. And we've all had that friend that has asked us to Photoshop something because it'll be real quick for you. It'll only take 5 minutes for you, but I can't figure it out because I didn't go to years and years and years of school and experience in order to do it. But I have. It'll only take me 5 minutes and about 7 years prior of practice. But so for the everyday person, unpaid internships. A horrible, horrible scam to get young people to work for a company for free. Unpaid internships are a scam. The fact that you're not even deserving of minimum wage when you are paying for higher education is absurd. Like, just think about that for 1 second. The Super Bowl is the most profitable event in the entire country, averaging at least 1/3 of the entire United States. That's 100 million people watching it. The most watched being the 2015 Super Bowl with the Pats and Seahawks and Katy Perry and Missy Elliott for the halftime. The birth of the left shark meme. And you're telling me that they don't want to pay the crowd goers that they're forcing to work, let alone give them food or transportation or like a free ticket, like literally anything of value? I don't know how anyone can defend this. Just because it's the way that it's always been in this country doesn't mean that it's right. Another terrible argument, for anything really, that's just the way it's always been. Get your head out of your ass. If anything is being choreographed, or you have to be there for rehearsals, you need to be paid. This is going to be hard, but stop participating in free labor because you deserve to get paid. I know it's difficult, but it's okay to say no. Companies should be paying their talent, no matter how little the talent may be. And everyone, freelancers, YouTubers alike, should be paying for their art, not taking free artwork or creative work from fans for free to use in your videos. Everyone deserves to be paid, and quickly, when you are so used to being underpaid and working for free for so long to get experience, you start to undervalue your own work and your own self-worth because it's so intertwined in who you are, at least for people who work in anything creative related. Don't fall into it. You're worth more than you think. People just don't want to pay for it. Everyone deserves to be paid, and I'm tired of seeing creatives and young professionals get taken advantage of for their talents that deserve to be compensated for. And this whole Super Bowl thing coming to light, not paying a lot of their extras, is just really telling of a much larger issue in the country of undervaluing creative work. It was crazy for me to go rewatch a ton of these Super Bowl halftime shows and see how the crowd actually has to learn choreography that I've never noticed before. So yeah, if you'd like to support this channel, feel free to share it with your friends, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and help me grow because I'm almost at 8,000 subscribers and that's kind of cool. So thank you. Okay, bye. Thank you so much to my very first patron, Josh, and Cormac and Reluctic for subscribing as well. You guys are my very first patrons, so thank you so much. The link to subscribe is down below in the description, where you'll get early access to my YouTube videos before they go live, and you'll get previews of music that I'm working on and just things that I'm working on in general that I'll post to Patreon. You'll also get a custom Discord role, which is pretty cool. The link to that is also in the description below. You can be one of my patron simps. It's great. And you'll get to be featured at the end of every single one of my videos. So thanks. Bye.